It happened in Louisville, Kentucky, a city known for its warm southern charm and vibrant rhythm. Yet one December night, that rhythm was broken by tragedy. The victim was 21-year-old Antonia Lucas, a bright and ambitious young woman whose life had been a testament to hard work, joy, and determination. The date was December 30th, 2020. Just another day on the calendar, or so everyone thought. Antonia left home for what she said was a simple hair appointment, unaware that this ordinary errand would lead her straight into the hands of someone capable of unthinkable evil. The person responsible was no stranger to trouble, a man whose past was clouded by violence and poor choices. Yet no one could have imagined his path would cross with Antonia's in such a devastating way. When she didn't return home that night, her family's concern quickly turned to panic. Calls went unanswered, texts unread. By dawn the next day, their search led them to Smoketown, a neighborhood thick with unease. There, a chilling discovery inside a parked car changed everything. Antonia and another young man were found lifeless, both victims of a brutal shooting. Police arrived swiftly, sealing off the area with yellow tape as detectives began piecing together the mystery. What started as a missing person search became a double homicide investigation that would test the limits of patience, faith, and justice. Over time, the trail grew cold, until a crucial breakthrough nearly 2 years later finally put a name to the killer and set the wheels of justice in motion. That night in Louisville marked not just the loss of a daughter, a friend, and a dreamer, but the birth of a long, painful fight for truth and closure. This is her story. Louisville, Kentucky, a city that hums with life, laughter, and southern charm, was also home to a girl whose light shone brighter than a summer sunrise. Antonia Lucas was born on December 14, 1999, a date her mother would forever hold dear and one the world would one day mourn. From the moment she could walk, Antonia was like a burst of sunshine after a thunderstorm, always smiling, always full of life. She was the kind of girl who can make even Monday mornings feel like holidays. Her mother, a hardworking woman, raised her single-handedly, juggling jobs and responsibilities with the quiet determination of a woman who knew that love alone could build an empire. Through elementary school and into Eastern High, Antonia excelled. She was athletic, smart, and ambitious. The type of student teachers bragged about and classmates envied. She played lacrosse with the intensity of a champion and studied like her future depended on every exam, because to her, it did. By the time she was 15, while most teens were hanging out at malls or scrolling endlessly through social media, Antonia was flipping burgers at Wendy's, a young girl with big dreams and no time to waste. Her path led her to the University of Louisville, where she juggled not one, not two, but 3 worlds: college, 2 jobs, and her very own business, Twisted Balloons. If ambition were a fire, Antonia's burned brighter than the 4th of July. Her balloon decor business transformed birthdays into fairy tales, baby showers into wonderlands, and weddings into dreams you didn't want to wake up from. Life was smiling at her, and she smiled back even wider. But destiny, that cruel trickster, had other plans. It was December 30th, 2020, the final days of a year that had already broken the world's heart. Antonia told her mother she had a hair appointment, just an ordinary day, just an ordinary errand. But sometimes, the most ordinary moments are the ones that change everything. As the night deepened, silence replaced her laughter. Her phone went unanswered. Her family called again and again, each unanswered ring another knife of worry twisting deeper. By dawn of December 31st, panic was coursing through their veins like ice water. Using the Find My iPhone app, they tracked her to Smoketown, an area that, ironically, was now filled not with smoke, but with dread. When police arrived, they barely knocked on 2 doors before giving up, a decision that would forever haunt the family. Desperate and determined, they took the search into their own hands. Flashlights cut through the early morning darkness as neighbors peeked out, curious. Then came the moment that froze time. A stranger noticed a car parked oddly on Lambton Street, a car no one recognized. Antonia's brother approached it, his heart pounding like a drum in a funeral march. He leaned in, and what he saw shattered his world. 2 bodies, motionless, lifeless. One of them, unmistakably, his sister. Police swarmed the scene. Yellow tape fluttered in the cold wind like ribbons marking a nightmare. Inside the car lay 21-year-old Antonia Lucas and 23-year-old Daniel Key Jr., both shot in the head. The coroner's words were cold, clinical, but the reality was a fire of grief that would burn forever. Detective Christopher Columbi took the case, a seasoned investigator who, ironically, would soon become part of the chaos himself. He started with the basics. Who was Daniel Key Jr., and how did he know Antonia? The family's answer? They'd never heard of him. That single truth sent chills down everyone's spine. How could Antonia, a girl so careful, end up in a car with a man she barely knew? Daniel's past was a stormy one. In 2015, at just 17, his 4-year-old sister tragically died after finding his loaded gun on a couch. A single careless moment, a lifetime of regret. Though he was charged later, Daniel's life spiraled. Drugs, violence, bad deals, the street had swallowed him whole. And then irony struck again. After years in prison, Daniel was finally free, but freedom lasted barely 6 months before death came knocking again. This time, not by accident, but by design. Detective Columbi was fired mid-investigation for threatening to kill his co-workers. Yes, the man hunting a killer became the threat himself. With the case abandoned and no leads, months turned into a year. Hope faded like chalk in the rain. Then, 19 months later, a breakthrough. 24-year-old Maylon Harris was charged with a double homicide. The justice system moved slower than molasses in winter. It took 3 years before Harris ever faced a courtroom. The prosecution painted him as a man fueled by rage, a man who had argued with his girlfriend, fired at her car, and unknowingly tied his own noose. The shell casings from that altercation matched those found at the murder scene of Antonia and Daniel. The defense fought hard, but fate had already chosen sides. After a mistrial and a retrial, in April 2025, the verdict was delivered. Guilty on all counts. In June 2025, Maylon Harris was sentenced to life in prison with the faint illusion of parole after 25 years. A lifetime to think about 2 souls he stole. At the sentencing, Antonia's mother spoke through tears that could drown a mountain. He didn't have to put a bullet in my daughter's head that day. There was something else he could have done. The court was silent. Even justice seemed ashamed. Her family expected peace, but peace never came. "I thought I'd feel better," her mother whispered, "but I don't. He's still a cold-blooded killer who won't take responsibility." To this day, the motive remains as unclear as fog at dawn. The murder weapon, a .40 caliber Ghost, was never found. Harris insists he's innocent, claiming the real killer is still on the streets. And perhaps the cruelest irony of all, Antonia Lucas, a young woman who built joy from balloons, symbols of life, color, and celebration, met her end in the darkest of ways. Her dreams deflated far too soon. May her soul rest in peace, and may her story remind us that even the brightest stars can fall from the sky, but their light never truly fades.